What is up, my tricksters? It's your friendly neighborhood Yu-Gi-Oh! Superhero back again with a deck profile, something fun. I haven't made one of these, but I came across this Mega Capital G video the other day that was talking about this an old school deck, and it would kind of sparked this inspiration for me because I was like, hey, we can kind of do that. So I'm gonna get to that part when we get to the deck profile, and I know we're talking Danger Blue Eyes today, if the title didn't give that away. But before we get into any of that, I need to do my little spiel. So if you guys want to support this channel, the two ways you can do that right now are my Spring Store and my Your Playmats link. If you do the Your Playmats link, you get custom sleeves with any kind of artwork you want on the back. I got my logo. You can get anything you want. And of course, if you like my logo, you can get more stuff like that from my Spring Store. Shirts, masks, mugs, the whole 9 yards. So go do that. Go check that out. It would be greatly appreciative to me if you would do that and support this channel. Now, let's go do some old school replay footage. You guys are going to get to see the deck in action, actually against meta decks, which is kind of funny to me because meta decks never pop up for me, but they did today. And we got some crazy games. So I'm looking forward to showing you guys that. So let's go check that out, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Alright guys, that was the replay footage. I hope you enjoyed that. Let's go ahead and go over the deck profile. This is a deck I'm actually really Excited for it and had a lot of fun. I still think there's some improvements that need to be made as we go, but that'll just have to be something I work on as we go. So first of all, you got your triple Blue Eyes White Dragons. You got your Blue Eyes Alternative. Thanks to the structure deck from Albaz, we get a common Chaos Dragon Levineer, which is very important to me because it's like I really couldn't get a hold of this card beforehand, and now I've got 3 copies of it, so woohoo! Alright, anyway, structure deck for the win. Anyway, then we got our Dangers. I went with Danger Bigfoot. You don't have to go with this artwork, I just like this one better than the original artwork. That's the only reason why I'm going with it. Then we got to the triple Thunderbird. If I had my way, I would be playing 3 and 3, but I only own 2. You have to remember a lot of my deck profiles are based off of what I personally own. So that's the ratio we have. Then we got the one Spirit Dragon. This is just more back row, and it's also a Blue Eyes-esque card. So it's just kind of, it's back row hate plus a Blue Eyes card. You could cut it if you want to. You don't have to play this card. It rarely actually comes up for me, but sometimes it does. So then we got Danger Nessie. If I had more of this card, I might also play more of this one because it's kind of funny to use it to search for things like Bigfoot or Thunderbird, whatever you kind of need it for. Mothman just thins out the deck. That's all he's good for. Chupacabra is Monster Reborn for the Dangers, which, as you can probably tell from the extra deck, is kind of important, so I felt like he's actually worth playing. For the Stones, we got 2 of each, just to keep it even Steven. I like the Ancient Stone because it can give me big monsters to come forth later, and the White Stone gives me the normal Blue Eyes cards, which I use as fodder to make sure that my Dangers go off, and can allow for certain cards to go off later. Then we got Return of the Dragon Lords. This Monster Reborn. Duster, because back row decks are a pain in the ass. Trade in. This card is so crucial in this deck. That's why we're playing so many level 8s. Honestly, if I had another Bigfoot, I think I would take out the Spirit of White and play another Bigfoot and just keep it at that because the level 8s are just about right where I want them. Melody is very important in this deck as well because it's a discard, and it searches Levineer, Ultimate, or the regular Blue Eyes, whatever we kind of need. And I really like this because the danger cards just trigger off of it, and that's fantastic. As well as the White Stone. So it's very fun, easy, easily usable there. Upstart, just deck thinning. Card destruction is fucking broken. I'm sure I've been guarantee you I'm going to keep the replay where I actually got to play this card because it's a one-of, you don't really get to draw it often. But I drew it in one of the replays with 3 dangers. I was like, damn! So it was just uber plus. Literally, you get card destruction, and it's like, oh my god, it's like you didn't give up anything. You just popped a bunch of shit, searched, special summoned, all for the price of doing nothing. Called by the Grave, because Ash Blossom is a pain in the ass. I really hate Ash Blossom. I really fucking hate Ash Blossom. Anyway, that's a story for another day. Anyway, Ultimate Fusion. This card, I am so happy that this card exists. This card saved my ass so many times in the games of this thing because the Blue Eyes fusions are so badass, which we will go over that, but this basically lets me fuse from the graveyard, and that is amazing. Spinning back resources into the deck, because one of the old things that used to happen with the Danger Blue Eyes build is one of the things that would happen is you would run out of fuel. You know what I mean? You would get a White Stone, and then you'd have no Blue Eyes to search with it. Now you get to use this card and spin those resources back and just keep going. And it's like, yes. Imperm. I initially was running Chalice. That's why you see it in the sideboard. But Imperm proved ultimately to be better than Chalice. I really didn't want to go that route. I really wanted to do Chalice, let this deck be as budget as possible. But Chalice really only came in handy one time, and I feel like Imperm would have been more useful in going into the future, being that it has such versatility, and with the extra deck we have, yeah, it's just better to have this one. And then Skill Drain. This is the card that inspired this entire build wasn't also inspired by Mega Capital G. I know that the guy needs a shout out. He's just a little guy. Anyway, shout outs to Mega Capital G. So basically, the thing that inspired me to make this deck was a Malefic skill drain deck from way back in the day that was uber popular in the Synchro era of Yu-Gi-Oh! When, before we had Xyz and Link Monsters. And Mega Capital G was doing one of these history videos, and he was talking about that strategy, and it kind of inspired me thinking, well, you know what, that strategy is still kind of viable today, but we don't have all the same kind of cards, or the game's not quite as slow. So the strategy of those old bills was to play cards that just kind of thin out the deck and search really good cards, like you saw it do with Necro Valley as a field spell because it cut off the graveyard. You had and the Gravekeepers have their own searcher for Necro Valley, so that's how and then of course they had those kinds of cards to thin the deck out. That was the old school way of doing it, which was fine for that era because it was slow. And this we're in a faster one. So one of the things that came to my mind was, I could just play Dangers, because either I draw into the skill drain off the danger effect, or I set it and then the dangers go off, and if the dangers summon themselves, it's cool. I draw a card, they're big. And that's the thing. Skill drain turns Yu-Gi-Oh into a fist fight, and that's how I like it personally. There's a reason why you see me always playing things like dinosaurs and blue eyes. Yu-Gi-Oh, in my opinion, should be a fist fight. The battle phase should matter, and unfortunately, modern day Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't agree to that. So basically, the idea here was, well, then we'll play skill drain and force you to play in the battle phase. So now you have to do the fisticuffs, and I've got the bigger monsters. That's the way it was working in my mind. Anyway, so let's go over the extra deck real quick. So our 3 fusions are actually just the blue eyes ones. In each of them are summonable. We got Ultimate Fusion, which can summon the Alternative, the Twin Burst, and the Tyrant. The Twin Burst can be summoned like an Xyz monster if you have 2 blue eyes white dragons. Alternative counts as regular blue eyes in the field, just FYI. This guy can attack twice, as well as if he doesn't kill the monster in battle, he can just banish it. So if he attacks a bigger monster, he can't die in battle, so he'll just, okay, cool, I'll banish that card. This guy isn't really the bread and butter, but he's there. It's an option. It does come up. The other 2 fusions actually come up a lot more than you think, especially in this build, because we filled up that graveyard so quickly with blue eyes cards. There was one game I won against, I don't know if it'll make it into the video, but in one game against a Sword Soul player, because I summoned this card, he panicked, and the opponent couldn't get around it because they didn't play any of their monsters that could get rid of it without targeting. And the alternative Ultimate Dragon cannot be targeted, and it can't be destroyed by card effects. So if I was up against a Sky Striker player and played this card, it would be broken because their whole thing is targeting. And then the other thing is that the bread and butter fusion monster is indeed Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon. Fun fact, if you get this guy out first, or if you chain your Ultimate Fusion to your skill drain, this guy comes out and he's unaffected by your trap cards too. So basically, as long as he's out first, skill drain, he's unaffected by skill drain, and he's just a 3,400 attack monster that if he does damage, or if he battles, he's going to give you back a trap card, which is ultimately why we went back for Imperm over Chalice, because Imperm can also, in some situations, shut off back row. So I felt like that was more viable than Chalice in that regard. But Forbidden Chalice would work in a pinch if you don't have access to Imperm for whatever the reason. Maybe you didn't buy the Cyber Dragon Structure deck. Anyway, that being said, I really like this card. It's very powerful. I like having an Ultimate Conductor Tyranno-esque card in other decks. So there's that. We do have some synchros. We got the Shin Shin here from Virtual World. It's basically just a Dark Law-esque monster that's kind of big. It rarely came up. It's just an option if I needed it. You got your Azure Eyes and your Spirit Dragon. Azure Eyes obviously has old school plays. You can go into it and have like untargetable dragons. Spirit Dragon can go into Azure Eyes, and of course the Spirit Dragon also is a graveyard negate. In the off chance we had a Nessie and a Whitestone, I had Omega in here to like snipe the hand. That just seemed really good to me. Also, if I was up against something like a Dogmatica player, I could throw the Omega in, and then whatever other card they make me toss away, I can, or if I'm forced to toss away, I can just put them back. So that kind of serves that purpose. Now we get to the Exceeds, and these are really important. Zombie Stein actually is a very powerful Exceeds monster in this deck. You need 2 Dark Monsters to make it, which is kind of why I wish I had another Danger Bigfoot. But Zombie Stein's goal here is to basically, one, it forces itself into defense mode. You send a card from the deck to the hand, which those happens to be stones. Or not from the deck to the hand, or from the hand to the graveyard, excuse me. If those happen to be stones, you'll get the searches or the summons later. And that's really good, but this is a generic negate, which I like, and unfortunately, though, he has go to defense mode. That really sucks. But under skill drain, he's a 4,500, beat stick, and a lot of monsters can't get past that. So then you got our Titanic Galaxy, and if you're wondering why I don't have the other cards you typically see with Blue Eyes, it's because I don't own them. If I owned them, I would play them, but I don't. So that's why the build is you're seeing what you're saying. Titanic Galaxy here is a spell negate. Mekk-Knight Asteram here is a monster that can't be targeted. And then of course I can force an opponent to attack into him. It can't come up. It's probably not the best one. I'm sure that there are other monsters that I probably would rather make, like Access Code Talker if I had it, but I don't have it. So. And then we got our Nightmares. These guys are actually really good in this build because the Nightmares cause the dangers to trigger as well as the eggs. Then we got the Light Charmer here, which we're playing because it allows us to search the babies. So and Ghost Ogre is being highly played right now, so the idea is like, oh, I could just steal an opponent's Ghost Ogre, or if or whatever card they're playing. Striker Dragon here is the reason I picked it is because it's just a dark monster that I can trade a level 1 for. Same with Anima. Anima can take a monster. The Striker Dragon can't really do anything, but you could if you could have Link Karibo or something like that, you can go that route. There you go. I just went for that because it's a dragon and it's a dark monster. The only thing I would do is I had just some basic side cards here. I had the Chalice in here. I guess I felt in the off chance I felt like I needed even more monster negation than I already had. I got a lot of Twin Twisters, Red Reboot, Pankratops. The deck's very going second, and these cards help facilitate, like, so if I'm up against a going second deck, or not going second deck, a back row deck, excuse me, I had the options. And then, of course, if I was up against Fluanderies, I wanted to have another way to out their board, because the statue's a pain in the ass. But the really cool thing about, like, Fluanderies matchups, the skill drain hurts that deck. Not as much as, like, I think Zombie World does, but skill drain will hurt. And the cool thing about the dangers is if they get ditched for fodder, they still pop shit. So you can ditch another reason why I need another Bigfoot, because ditching a Bigfoot pops the statue and allows you to keep playing. And like I said, if you turn this into Unga Bunga Yu-Gi-Oh, you're gonna win the fist fights. All right, that's just how it is. You simplify the game state down to just, oh, big monster go smash, and you're gonna win that fight every time. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I really like the Danger Blue Eyes deck, and but yes, it is indeed something I'm playing. Just in case you were wondering, it's very much physically here. That's probably a very blurry footage, but yeah, it's right here. It's a physical deck I own, so I really like it. I definitely want to improve this deck over time. I think that this right now is a really good format to play something like this Unga Bunga Yu-Gi-Oh type thing, because they're popping from various other places. You're popping stuff before you're actually putting things on the board. On top of just flowing through that deck really fast and getting a lot of card advantage. So, sometimes when you get stuck in the lack of card advantage, sometimes, like I said, if you've reduced the game to a fist fight, you're going to win. In most cases. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're new to the Ben 10,000 of yugioh channel, please consider subscribing. I hope to see you guys in the future. I'm trying to make it to the 10,000 mark, so subscribe. So I can get there as fast as possible. Anyway, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.